Are you thinking about making a move to Roseburg, Oregon? Well, in this video, I'm going to be completely straight with you. This place has things that you are absolutely going to love and some things that you are really going to hate. Today, I am breaking down the top 5 reasons why people love when they move here, or the top 5 reasons why people are packing their stuff up and getting the heck out of here. And trust me, number 5 is going to blow you away. So stay tuned to the end. Hey everybody, I'm Jerry Norman with Oregon Life Homes. I've helped a ton of people relocate to the Roseburg area. So I get a front row seat of how people really feel after they have made the move here. And one thing I want is I do not want people making a move and then hating it and then needing to leave. So with that, if you are new to this channel, hit that subscribe button because I put out videos like this every week about what it's like to live, sleep, work, and play here in the Roseburg area. So with that, let's get on with the video. So number 1 about why people love living here is the outdoors and the scenery. Roseburg is an outdoor lover's paradise. We've got mountains and mountain views, hiking, wineries, winery tours, which are really fun. And all this stuff is all within 20 minutes to an hour drive. So it really gives you the opportunity to just really get out and enjoy nature. The Umpqua River is perfect for fishing, hiking, exploring waterfalls, and even jumping in the river and just taking a lazy float. Watch out because you'll get sunburned if you're not careful. And when I mentioned the waterfalls, we've got Toketee, Watson, Susan Creek Falls. All these are just short little hikes that you can do on the weekends or in your spare time. And those are all within an hour drive of downtown Roseburg. So it's not too bad. And then the wineries. So we have like over 30 wineries here. And there's like a little winery tour that you can take. And all these places are super cool. Some are just have amazing views. And it's just so cool just to have a glass of wine, sit out, look over the vineyard, and it is great. I mean, it is a perfect way to just spend a Saturday afternoon with your husband or wife, girlfriend, boyfriend, whatever, and just take it in, get a little bit of cheese or whatever. And all these people that work at the winery, they're so helpful and so nice. And it is just a really cool way to spend an afternoon. And then there are plenty of places to hike, camping. And if you're like me, motorcycle riding. There are tons of roads that are just perfect for motorcycle riding. So you got camping and motorcycle riding, whatever. It is just an outdoors paradise. So that is one reason why people that are newly retired or just looking to relocate here, they are absolutely loving the outdoorness. And it makes them just feel very active. All right, so now this is why people will hate the outdoors and activities of Roseburg. The outdoor fun is only seasonal. Once we get into late September and all the way up until early February, we're going to have rain. So it is going to be drizzly and somewhat miserable. At first, at the beginning of fall, it's not too bad because it's starting to get all the fires out, and we're going to get to that in a little bit. But it's all the forest fires around, the smoke, it starts to dwindle. So once we see the rain after a dry summer, it's kind of like a blessing. But after a while, that rain is just going to make things miserable. And it starts to ruin plans, outdoor activities, like for me, if I have an extra day off, and I want to get out on the motorcycle, and then the worst thing is I walk outside and it's raining. Forget it. It's a really good way to ruin the day. And then if you are hiking or out camping or stuff, one thing you really want to be careful of is the poison oak. That can make your summer very miserable. Or ticks. So you want to be careful of ticks. And then I also mentioned the wildfire smoke. So we do get smoke. Right now, there's one quite a ways from us, but yesterday I walked outside and I was shocked. I couldn't believe there was so much smoke. It was really bad. But this summer hasn't been too bad, but that smoke came in yesterday and it was crazy bad. But that fire is quite a ways from us and it's out towards the coast. So it kind of blew in and it was bad. But today we're getting rain, so that smoke is starting to clear away and helping those fires, hopefully. And, like I said, the rain does help get rid of that smoke. But yesterday I probably would not have wanted to go hiking or anything like that because it was pretty smoky out. And that's kind of uncommon the last few years, but yesterday was pretty bad. Another reason you might hate living here is you're not into the outdoors. So the entertainment level might feel a little limited. So if outdoor adventure is on the top of your list, give me a call, text, email. I will help you find the right home next to the rivers or some land management property or, next to some BLM land or whatever. Give me a call. Love to help you find that perfect place that would work for you if you are thinking about making a move here. And there's a lot of them right now. All right, so love and hate number 2, the cost of living here. So you're going to love living here because Roseburg home prices are much less than major cities on the West Coast, like Portland, Seattle, San Francisco, LA, or any of those other California towns where home prices have really skyrocketed. And now I know a lot of people are leaving California. So maybe those home prices might start falling a little bit down there. But home prices here are pretty steady, and it's going to be much more affordable than these other towns, which also will give you a lot more house for your money. You're going to have larger lots, possibly a shop or a large garage. And if it's your kind of thing, you can be kind of out of town a little bit. Your money's just going to go a lot farther here as far as home prices and home purchases. And then Oregon does not have a state sales tax. Now, this is something to get used to. I was just up in Washington last week and bought some groceries and some other stuff and kind of figured out what I was going to be paying. And then all of a sudden I looked at the bill and I was like, whoa, this is a lot. I forgot they had a 10% sales tax. Now, that doesn't mean that Oregon isn't zero tax. We do have a pretty good and hefty income tax. So that is something to be wary of. But with no sales tax, if you have large purchases, makes a pretty good savings. And a lot of people that I do work with, they're downsizing from these larger cities and places down in California or Portland or Seattle, Idaho, Arizona. They're downsizing and selling their home there, and they're almost able to live mortgage free here if they choose. So if you have a lot of equity in your home, give me a call. I can put you in with a lender that can help you make that transition here really well. Or if you just need to sell and then purchase something here, I help a lot of people do kind of a simultaneous close and then move here type of thing. It happens all the time. So I can really, really help you out there. And if you are looking to do something like that and need help finding an agent down there, I've got a network of real estate agents all across the country that I work with. So you can give me a call, text, email. I'd love to put you in touch with somebody that will really help you get your home sold in whatever state you're in. Now, as far as the cost of living goes, why people would hate it here, the property taxes are a little bit lower here, but they do vary by city and counties. But still, it is significantly lower than other parts of the country or larger cities. And then if you are looking to downsize, one of the most popular price ranges is between the 300 and 400 range. Now, this range is really tight and you can get a really good home for this price, but the problem is the competition is really heavy. If a good home falls within that price range, it will have a lot of competition. And the reason why is because first-time home buyers are in that qualifying range, and that's going to be their first home. Or somebody that's downsizing or relocating and are looking to spend under $400,000, then they're going to be in that same range. So, and a lot of first-time home buyers buying their second home, they're also still in that same range. So that is a really popular price range between $300,000 and $400,000. It is very competitive, especially if it's a really good home. Another thing about cost of living and living here is wages here. If you are here for any kind of regular work, if you're working in a mill or bar or restaurant or waitress or whatever, wages here are really low. The average wage here in Douglas County is right around $50,000, probably less, but that's something to think about. If you are thinking about making a move for work, hopefully you have a better job. The healthcare industry is begging for work. So if you are in healthcare, it's probably going to be a little bit better of a salary than around the 50,000 range. So that 50,000 range really makes it tough for families looking to move here, and especially if they're on a single income household. And then another thing to think about is if you are looking to move here, if you are looking outside of the city, most likely you're going to be on well and septic. Now, a lot of people don't mind that. A lot of people do, but that is something to think about, that you're going to have to be on well and septic, and it is something that is going to add an extra maintenance cost as well. And then also when you're buying, it's going to add a lot more inspection costs also. Just something to be aware of if you are thinking about making a move outside of the city limits. All right, number 3 reason why people love or hate living here would be the community feel. So Roseburg is still a small enough town to where you're going to run into people. You're going to see your neighbor driving down the street, wave at them. People in the grocery store are going to start recognizing you, knowing you by name, maybe even knowing your order at a restaurant or whatever. And it's just a small town feel, and a lot of people like it, and most everybody here is really nice and pleasant to be around. And then the community's got a lot of events. We've got the graffiti weekend where it's a car cruise all weekend long. One reason you might hate living here is because of the traffic around that, but it's super easy to avoid. We've got the Douglas County Fair. There's a small town that's got a Sasquatch festival. This year was its 3rd year, and it's gotten pretty big. So I haven't been yet to that, but I guess it's a pretty good time. And every other town's got events as well. Myrtle Creek has got its summer festival, huge fireworks show. Sutherland's got a blueberry festival. Winston's got its melon festival. Keep going and keep going. Concerts in the park every week during the summer. Just tons of small community events. Also, there's the farmers markets and local high school sports. And if you are moving here with kids or have grandkids in this area, you're going to stay busy with high school sports. I mean, it's crazy. And then if you are moving here with family, it's so much less stressful than living in a big city. And I know this because I was in one, but it is so much less stressful. It's easier to raise a family. I mean, my wife's son, he runs around this whole town, all summer long. Never a worry, never think that it's a problem. It's really safe for kids, and the town I'm in, Myrtle Creek, it is a really good community to raise kids. I mean, everybody knows everybody, so if your kid's out of line, you get a phone call. But I mean, just a small town community, it's really easy to raise kids here. And why would you hate that? Well, if you're used to a big metro city, the quiet evenings might seem a little too quiet. And then a lot of people find this area a little too conservative for their liking. But, you can watch my other videos. Most of my other videos talk about something about the political climate in this area. And a lot of people are worried that if they do move here from California, that people are going to hate them or do whatever. It's not really the case. But what people here don't want is to hear a different political idea. They're stuck in their ways here, and that's just the way it is. It doesn't really affect me too much because I kind of stick both ways, but it's just something to think about. It's more like live and let live here. And if you're into some fine dining or nightlife or dancing, the options here are very slim. Yeah, you're going to have a couple options, but it's also a good reason just to go up to Portland or Eugene if you are into stuff like that. We've been going up to Tacoma and Seattle. I have friends up there. I grew up there. So, it's a good way just to spend a weekend. Just take off and be in a bigger city. And it makes me miss home when I'm gone and in one of those cities. Another reason why you might hate it here, if you're from one of these bigger cities, everybody knows each other. And a lot of times everybody knows each other's business. So it could be a little discouraging. For me, I don't care. It doesn't bother me one bit. And I really don't care what Joe's doing next door or whatever. So this is kind of where I step in. I moved here myself from across the country, and I've been here for the last 10 years. So I know every neighborhood, and I really can plug you right into what would fit you the best. So if you're confused about which area to live in, give me a call, text, email. I'd really love to sit down with you or talk to you over the phone and just give you an idea of where you might want to start focusing your home search. All right, on to number 4, which is convenience and location. Roseburg is perfectly centralized right on the I-5 corridor. Now the I-5, if you aren't from the West Coast and don't know, I-5 runs from Canada to Mexico, right through Washington, Oregon, and California, all the way down to Mexico. So being in Roseburg, we can be in Eugene in just over an hour, or we can be down in Grants Pass in Medford and Southern Oregon, just over an hour, more like an hour and a half. And then if you need to be over on the coast, it's about an hour and a half to get to the coast. Great way to spend the weekend or get away from smoke, usually. Also, up to the mountains, it's about an hour, hour and a half. So really centralized. I can be in Portland in about 3 hours. I can be in Seattle in about 6. So super centralized. Another thing that's cool about being on the I-5 corridor and a small town, I never worry about traffic. Wherever I need to go, it's always the same time to get there. I never have to adjust for traffic. So if I need to get from Myrtle Creek to Roseburg, I know it's going to be about 15 or 20 minutes. And if I need to get from Myrtle Creek to Sutherland, I know it's going to be just about a half hour. And that's going from South County to North County, pretty much. So you never really have to worry about traffic times. And then it's also convenient being on the I-5 corridor. Now, Roseburg doesn't have an international airport. We do just have a regional small airport. But if you do need to do a lot of traveling, for me, I travel about 3 or 4 times a year. So I've actually got my choice of either to fly out of Eugene or Medford, both larger airports and have commercial flights. A lot of times, I wouldn't say a lot of times, but a couple times I wanted to save a little bit of money and then drove up to Portland, which is 3 hours. Kind of sucks coming home because now you got to drive 3 hours home. So that's why I usually fly out of Eugene or Portland, both Eugene or Medford, both about an hour, hour and a half away. So not too bad. And the cool thing about those airports is the TSA lines are very small, and getting through the airport, it's not crowded and very easy to get through. Now, one reason why people hate it here is larger stores. We have a lack of them. I mean, of course, we have the Costco, we have the Walmart, we have the Fred Meyers, all that stuff. Lowe's, Home Depot, we got all that. But like if you want a Trader Joe's or a lot more chain restaurants, we do have some of those, but not all of them. So for those kind of things, Eugene is the closest to get to. Also, healthcare options are a little bit more limited unless you're a veteran. We do have the VA complex. One big reason why a lot of people are moving here because they are veterans and they want to be close to that VA hospital, which is right in Roseburg. We do have a regional hospital as well. That's Mercy Medical. But if you're going to need some more specialty care, Eugene is probably going to be where you're going to need to go for your specialty health care. And then I did mention about air travel. You know, if you travel a lot, it might start being a pain in the butt to drive an hour and a half to the airport, but most people here just kind of deal with it. You're really not close to a major airport. I mean, you're an hour away. And then for like online shopping and deliveries, it's going to be a day or two longer. You're not going to have instant Amazon deliveries. Like my daughter, if you order something on Amazon, if you're from a bigger city, you probably know this. I just have never seen it before, but where she's at, order something in the morning on Amazon and you got it in the afternoon. What? That's crazy. But here it's going to be a couple days. You know, you order something on Amazon or somewhere else, it's going to be a couple days. And then like Ubers and DoorDash and stuff like that. DoorDash is in Roseburg. Uber Eats is in Roseburg. But where I'm at Myrtle Creek, there's maybe one or two, but it's not very common. So if you want peace and quiet, but still a little bit of city access, Roseburg might be the sweet spot. So I can help you figure out which neighborhood would fit best for you and your family and what your hobbies are and what you need to do. And with that, we are on to number 5, which is the weather and wildfire aspect, which is the weather and wildfire factor. So people love that Roseburg has a mild 4 seasons without an extreme heat or extreme snow. Summers here are warm and dry. Typically, the average temperature is right around 80 degrees. Occasionally, we hit triple digits for about a week or so. This last summer, it was probably about 2 or 3 different weeks that we hit triple digits. But overall, it's right around 80 degrees. And then the winters are super mild as far as temperatures and snow. Temperatures range above 35, 38 degrees, something like that. Rarely freezes. Occasionally we'll get that snow and usually it's gone by lunchtime, but there has been a few times where it's stuck around for a few days and basically it just shuts down the whole town. So summers here are perfect for like gardening and fishing and hiking, all that kind of stuff. And also, I just learned that this area is a haven for gardeners. I guess there's some kind of number where we are pretty much at the top of that list for growing season. And we do get a little bit less rain than Portland and Seattle, and we are sunnier than out on the coast. The coast gets a ton of rain, and it's pretty dreary sometimes over there and windy. I like going to the coast when it's a nice, calm, mild day, usually to get away from the heat here. Now, one reason why people really hate living here, and this is what I told you about at the beginning that might surprise you, is the wildfire smoke. We do get some wildfire smoke. Now, surprisingly, we don't get that many unhealthy days a year. Other towns just south of us, such as Grants Pass and Medford, they get it a little worse. Also, Eugene and Portland get it a little bit worse sometimes. But overall, I did a video about wildfires and the health risks, and really our unhealthy days of smoke, we don't get that many. But if you do have breathing problems or asthma or anything like that, wildfire smoke is something that you really want to take into consideration. And then the winters here can be really gray and drizzly, windy and rainy, and sometimes stormy. A lot of people start feeling really kind of a little bit depressed because they feel stuck inside all the time. It gets dark early. It really starts bringing people down. But that's going to happen a lot of places. So if you are looking for a place with a lot more sunshine, this isn't going to be it. Although in the summertime it will be. But year round, you're going to want to be more farther south. However, now in the summertime, allergies can really be a problem. For me, a lot of time it's the hay and grass pollen and tree pollen is a really big factor. Sometimes I get really stuffed up. Other summers, like this last summer, wasn't bad at all. So if you do have allergy problems, that might be something to consider. I would suggest staying here for about a week before making a move, just seeing the area, see if it affects you. And like I said before, sometimes the snow can catch us off guard. The last time I remember was probably like 2019. We had a really bad snow. Power was out all over the place. Some people were out of power for a couple weeks. Some people were out of power for an hour. I mean, trees were down. The whole county shut down for, I don't know, a week. So it was really bad. That was the last time I remember it, and that was probably 6 years ago. So, that doesn't happen very often, but when it does, it can probably catch you off guard a little bit. So as far as wildfires go, I work with people relocating all the time. A lot of people that are moving from California are really hesitant about moving here because they're afraid of the wildfires. But I've talked to a lot of people, and I'll let you know what areas are good, where they have a good fire break. We don't have the winds like you get in California that really take the fires somewhere. But if you are worried about fires, give me a call. I'm happy to walk you through it, tell you what neighborhoods would fit you the best, where you really don't have to worry about. Just give me a call. I'd love to help you walk through it with you. So there you have it. The top 5 reasons why people either love living here or they hate living here. But at the end of the day, if you are thinking about making a move here, it all comes down to what your personal preference is and your personal lifestyle and what matters to you. Look, I moved here myself from across the country. I know what it's like to make the move and the transition here. It's hard, but I'm here to help. I've been here long enough. I know every neighborhood, and I can really, talk to you and figure out what neighborhood is right for you. And also, if you are concerned about it, I've got a relocation guide in the description down below. It's full of everything about the county. I break down the neighborhoods, the best place to take your dogs, everything. Also, hit that subscribe button because I'm putting out videos like this every week about what it's like to live here, breathe here, travel here, everything. And I do have a couple other videos about the neighborhoods here in Roseburg. So with that, you guys have a great day and appreciate you watching and have a good one. I'll talk to you guys later.